For the purposes of this video, Paul Gifford will be sitting in for Isabella because the original Isabella is not available. Hi, Isabella.
Hi,
It's nice to see you again.
it's great to be back.
How are you?
I'm okay.
I just have to, we just have to get this out of the way. It's an informed consent because we're recording this session today.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna have you sign this consent form.
No problem.
It's pretty self-explanatory. Then you just sign there at the bottom.
No initials there.
Yes. Nothing initial.
Okay.
Okay, very good. Since the last time we spoke, I was wondering, were you able to get in touch with our primary care physician? If you recall, I sent you the numbers to set up an appointment to just get
Yes,
your
I
heart checked out. And so did you go to the appointment already, or
Yeah,
you did? And was there any results of?
there was not really any findings, just to take it easy, and
Did they have you
back.
follow up with a cardiologist or anything like that?
They didn't find anything wrong with the heart or anything like that was concerning.
Was it helpful for you and your anxiety this week to know that there wasn't anything physically wrong with your heart or with your body?
Yeah, it seemed to relieve a lot of stress.
A little bit of the stress,
Sure.
so we can, is that relieving to just be able to check one more thing off our checklist of things that we have to go through?
Yeah, definitely.
Great. So we're gonna start some therapy with you, and so we're gonna start with it's called cognitive theory, and then some solution-based theory. So what that is, we're just gonna reframe some of your thoughts to help with the anxiety. We're gonna find out some solutions that we can come up with together. I'm not gonna be the tell-all. We're gonna work on it together, and we're gonna come up with the solutions together so that it's your treatment plan.
Okay.
So that you can feel that, empowered, and it's what you want, not what I'm telling you to do. Does that work for you?
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. So let's start with this. What is it, out of all of the things that we talked about last week, there was a lot of different things, right? There was your stress at your job, there was the children, there was the arguments with your parents, there was the stress and anxiety that comes along with all of that, you being a single mom, having to take care of the kids, their lack of focus in school. And so when we look at all of that, what is the most concerning thing to you out of all of that?
I would have to pinpoint that the clarity and the focus and the environment in the workplace and being able to reach deadlines would be an area that we need to concentrate on.
So that would be your main focus. That would be the
Yeah.
one thing that you would want to focus on.
Because I feel like that leads into more of the feelings of anxiousness.
Okay. Now, that being said, I want to try something. Are you willing to try a little exercise with me?
Yeah.
All right. So close your eyes. And if you went to sleep tonight, and while you were sleeping, a miracle happened.
Mhm.
Okay. Now you woke up. What would be different if the miracle happened in the situation at work?
I think I would first look for peace, the miracle of peace. And not feeling the weight and the pressure on my chest when I feel like I've missed something.
What does that piece translate as in the workplace? So as far as like what would be different that would from what's happening now to that peaceful place, what transpired, what changed in say your workload, the way that you communicate with your boss, your coworkers, what changed to bring that peace?
It would probably be the moving on to another area in the office where there's not so much activity and noise that causes some of the lack of focus and distractions that are there.
So what you're saying is the distracting factors would be too many people in the area, noisy workplace, too much going on in where you're working.
Yeah.
Are you satisfied with the job the position that you're in? Do you like your job?
I like my job. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say I like my job. but with the, with the kids at home, um, and then having to worry about getting something done at work, and then figuring out what are we going to do, let's say that evening for dinner, the focus and the concentration gets all foggy.
Okay. And you believe that that begins at the workplace. So in the morning you wake up, you're feeling good, then you get to work, you have all the stressors that are going on at work. It's very chaotic. There's all kinds of things going on.
Yeah.
You're getting stressed out, the anxiety comes on.
Yep.
And at that point, is that when you lose is that when your focus starts to change?
Yeah, I would say so.
And that kind of would you agree that that funnels down into the rest of the day
Correct.
until you go home? Okay.
Yeah.
So what is your relationship with your supervisor or your boss in your workplace?
It's been fairly healthy as far as our communication line. It's always open. I feel like she's coming at me at an angle that is more demonstrative. And it brings me back to my previous relationship with my ex-husband.
Okay.
So maybe the tone of the voice, and it might not even be her, but it's just the way that I'm responding that day to it.
Do you have the ability to sit down and have a conversation with your boss about what
Yeah,
is happening in the workplace?
I could be very open with it. Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever tried to speak with her about the situation before?
I mean, I've told her, but I might have not been able to communicate that effectively enough because I was coming out of frustration of not meeting a deadline
Okay.
or
Okay.
angry.
So what is one way that you could prepare to go in to see your boss to talk to her about maybe changing your position at your, location of where your work, your workspace?
Calm down, get a hold of the piece, and attempt to have a conversation with them.
Okay. And how would you calm down? What would you do?
One of the things that my physician told me to do was to concentrate on my breathing when I feel like the weight is on the chest. So I do some breathing exercises, and I haven't really been attending church much, so I don't have that many indicators on a spiritual level. Just relaxing and breathing and trying to piece it together to get through the day.
Okay, it seems like you have some tools already that you've been already kind of tapping into. There are some other things that you can do. So I think we're going to take this week by week and we're going to chip away. And so you stated that work was the number one thing that you wanted to work on, right? And when you thought about that miracle, you thought about the peace at work and what that would look like.
Yeah.
And the weight of the pressure coming off of you. And you said one of the ways that would happen would be if you could get out of the environment where all the chaos is, where the people are sitting, where all the different things are going on. And so,
go for a walk.
So there's some other things that you can do as well, like in the midst of when that anxiety comes on, while you're still in that space. Okay, so your breathing is awesome. There's also, have you ever heard of grounding?
No.
Okay, so grounding it starts you concentrate on certain body parts, and it starts from the ground up, and you tense a body part for like 10 seconds, and then you let it go. And then just kind of let it go, and then you'll tense another part. Would you want to try it? You want to see what it's like? All right, so you sit with your feet on the ground and sit straight up. All right, and I'm going to walk you through what you do. So when you're starting to feel anxious, and this is something that you can do at your desk, because you can almost do it like without nonchalantly kind of. I mean, you might want to go into a break room, or maybe, if you can get away to another spot, but if not, so I'm going to say, we're going to start with your toes. And so when I say go, you're gonna clench just your toes. You're gonna tense them as tense as you can.
Okay.
And then when I say let go, you're gonna let go and just kind of wiggle your toes. Then we're gonna go to your calves. We're gonna go to your quad muscles. We're gonna go to your abdomen, and then we're gonna do your hands. Okay. So are you ready? Okay. Right. So ready? At your feet. Go. Okay, release it.
Yep.
Wiggle your toes. Now we're gonna go to your calf muscles.
All right.
You ready?
Yep.
Go. Let it go. Kind of. Now we're gonna do your thigh muscles. You ready?
Yep.
All right, tense them. Let it go. And a wiggle. Now your abdomen. Okay, let it go. Now we're gonna do your hands. Ready? Go ahead. Now wiggle your fingers. Take a look at that. How do you feel?
Actually feels pretty good.
And what that does is it takes you out of where the anxiety and brings you back into the present moment.
Okay.
So that because what happens when you think about it, when you're in an anxious spin, what happens?
You get tense.
You get tense and you go and your brain goes in a million different directions, right? And so grounding, another thing is an ice cube. So if you put an ice cube in your hand, what are you concentrating on?
Getting that ice cube out of my hand because it's cold.
Right? And sometimes when it's cold, it hurts, but that brings you back into the present reality and out of whatever and whatever you were in that anxiety that you're feeling. That's just a very quick something you can do at the workplace when the anxiety starts to come on you to kind of just get out of that space and back into the present so that you can concentrate and do what you need to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So there's just a couple of doable things that I mean, I don't know if they have ice cubes at work, but the grounding would really work. And another thing, tool is reading backwards. If you're reading backwards, you really have to concentrate. Like, look at this, you have to concentrate on the words, right? So again, that brings you, it's very effective. It brings you back into
Present reality.
present reality.
Got it.
Okay.
Seems doable. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, that's what we're going to work on. So the anxiety is what we want to work on first. If, at some point we decide that the anxiety is too overwhelming, there are some other avenues we could do. You could talk to we can go back to the primary care physician. And maybe, she can prescribe you something if you wanted to go the medication route, but let's try this first. And then we just know that that's probably another option if we need to do that.
Yeah, I would rather not,
Yeah.
be prescribed anything and try natural remedies.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And yeah. Okay.
Good.
Perfect. Yeah. That's great. I'm on board with that as well. Okay. So we're going to, our next session, we're going to start to work on some of those thoughts that you were saying you were having, because am I correct in that I'm going to repeat back what you said, tell me if I'm right or wrong. I thought I heard you say that the way that you hear or interpret your boss, maybe you might be misinterpreting it because you kind of tie it into your some things that your ex-husband.
Yeah.
So we're going to use next week, we'll work a little bit on that. I have some worksheets that we can do, a little bit of homework for you. Your homework this week is to when you start to feel the anxiety, try using some of those techniques. And the ones that you have good ones that already the breathing isn't just another great tool, and you're already doing that. But if it's be more conscious of it, use that, and then maybe you could add some of the other things in there.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then as we progress from week to week, we'll work on, what's going on with the children, and we'll work on, some solutions and maybe reunifying the relationship with your parents to kind of bring that back into focus. But we'll start one thing at a time. And so this week homework is what?
Practice some of the things that we talked about to relieve the stress
and anxiety, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So you
like it.
You like this? You're on board with it?
I'm on board.
Okay.
Yeah.
How are you feeling now?
I feel great.
You feel good? Okay.
Yeah.
If you need me, you have my work cell phone number. During business hours, I can get back to you. If there's an emergency, obviously you can call the phone or call a hotline. I gave you those numbers last week. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll see you next week.
All right.
All right. Have a great day.
Thank you too.